Hi, this is Charlene Mosher from Sound Sewing, Silverdale, Washington, and the PFAFF Creative Sewing Center, Lacey, Washington. Today I'm demoing for you the PFAFF Smarter 260C. This is a electronic machine made by PFAFF. It has a good selection of stitches, about 27 stitches. It does have needle up, needle down feature, so it can you can control where you want your needle to be. It has width control, length control, even has an information key to be able to tell you what foot you should be using for what stitch you're on. So it comes with standard feet, so you have your 0 foot here that comes with it, and then these are the rest of the tools that come with it. So you do have a screwdriver for lifting your plate and changing your needle, a zipper foot, your blind hem overcast foot, your 2A, which is your decorative foot, your auto buttonhole foot, needle inserter, another spool pin for twin needle sewing. You have a quilter's toolbar or seam guide, seam ripper, as well as a package of needles and then bobbins. So they all go right into this tray here. So we're just going to go ahead and just put them right into the tray. I'm going to keep a couple of items out that I'm going to need for the demo. So the thread lays horizontally on the machine. That way the thread will actually unravel off the spool instead of upright. You do have an upright one available to you. This is the best way to put your thread because then the weight of the spool is not pulling against itself and throwing your tensions off. It does have diagrams on here to show you how to thread the machine. So the solid lines are for actually threading the machine and the dotted lines are for winding the bobbin. It does have a tension setting right here, which they say anywhere between 3 and 5 is good tension. We're going to just put right in the middle for 4. And then this right here is the pressure on the pressure foot. So by turning it to the right, righty-tighty, it's going to make it a tighter pressure on your pressure foot, more pressure as the pressure foot goes down. Or you can loosen it to make it less. So if you're using really thick fabrics and stuff and you're having problems with it feeding, you can manually adjust it. As we come down, I've already threaded the machine up to the eye of the needle. So I'm just going to lower my foot to use the built-in needle threader. It comes directly down, and then I go in front of the needle, and when I pull it away, it makes this loop for us to pull. Very nice feature. The bobbin is a drop-in bobbin, and it goes really easily into the tension assembly. You do on this one have to make sure the thread's going over the top and to the left for a counterclockwise pull. And then I just follow these arrows to go in, go up, and come directly down. And then I could put my bobbin cover on. My bobbin cover does have a red line on it for a 1/4 inch setting. So if you're trying to do patchwork or doll clothes, you could do have your 1/4 inch setting directly on the plate. And then we're going to close and put that on. The next thing we do is the feet actually do snap off, so it's just a push down. This one has a pressure foot lifter where I can lower it down and grab the foot, so the pressure foot lifter's right here. This machine also has the capability of lowering the feed dog, so if I pull my tray off to get to my free arm, I do have a lever back here where I can push it to the right. So I went this way. It's way back here, really hard to see. And then my feed dogs went down. So I could do free motion quilting, darning, or embroidery. If I want to sew, I'm going to push it to the left. Nothing's happened because it's a mechanical setting. I could actually turn my hand wheel and now my feed dogs have come back up. So when you turn on the machine, it automatically comes to straight stitch. And I'm just going to take my fabric here and I'm going to lower my foot. And away I go, just directly sewing my straight stitch. I do have needle up and needle down. I can control it like I am right now with my foot control, so I'm controlling where I want that needle to be, or I do have a needle down key that when I press it, it is an immediate needle down, so I could turn and pivot and be able to sew. And because I used my key, it will always constantly stop down until I tell it otherwise. I do have a start-stop feature on here, so I can run this machine directly from the start-stop. But I need to make sure to use it in tandem with my speed control, because right then when I just did it, the machine only knew one speed, and that was full speed because I have my speed control all the way up. If I bring this down to like the halfway, there's like a little notch you could feel, and now the machine will only run up to the halfway by using my start-stop key. I can also use that with my foot control. So right now that is the fastest I can go with my foot control. Whereas with my foot control, I do like having it all the way up so I can then adjust my speed accordingly. Okay, but if you're teaching someone to sew, teaching someone younger, it is nice to have the speed control to help slow them down a little bit. That way they don't scare themselves with the machine. If you're teaching a little one how to sew, just don't tell them what that's for, and then they won't bother it. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to do some stretch fabric here. So this is sweatshirt fabric. I do need to use a triple straight stitch, so that would be number 7 on this machine. So if I just simply touch number 7, I get the stitch. And now I'm going to sew. Give myself some speed again. Okay. So something that could help this machine a little bit, if you like, is you can add a walking foot to this machine. This machine does not have a walking foot built in. That just can help with the feeding process, but this is a stretch stitch, therefore I can stretch and it'll move with the fabric. The other thing that I do like about this machine is it can do up to 6 layers of denim pretty comfortably. So I'm going to go back to straight stitch. I'm just going to use my little sample I have here, and I'm going to come, just going to go up and over and down. Just make sure that you give it the correct needle. You should have a denim needle if you're going to do denim sewing, okay, or jeans. Now this one does have a really nice high lift. I'm taking my pressure foot lifter here and I'm pushing straight up to get that really nice high lift. So then I can get in here with something thick and sew down it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take off this foot and put it away. And now we're going to do a buttonhole. So this machine has an automatic buttonhole foot, and it's the back of the foot opens up. There we go. So I can actually take a button and place it directly in there and close it. Then I'm going to come on in and I'm going to then snap this on so the button is behind me. And then behind my needle threader, there's another lever that has a buttonhole figure on it. You see that buttonhole figure on there? So I'm going to pull that down all the way behind my foot, and then I'm going to touch number 12, which is the buttonhole. Then I am just going to put this in, and I'm going to sew. And actually, I'm going to use the start-stop key, so that way I don't have to hold down my foot control. So this machine always does satin stitching backwards. As long as the satin stitching are going the same direction, it's good. And there is my buttonhole. I accidentally got a little bit of an extra loop in there from my tail, so that's what that is. That's just a loop, but that just cuts right out. And there is my buttonhole. See, that will pull directly out. Okay. So now I do have a thread cutter over here on the side that I've been using. I'm going to put my buttonhole lever up. This is a longer one, so it takes a bigger push to come down. And now if I wanted to, I can simply now go to a blind hem. So I'm going to put on my blind hem foot. And on my machine, my blind hem is, where is it? It is number 11. To do a blind hem, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to come up to how far I want my hem to be. And it does show you in the book how to do this. You then would put it underneath. I actually do one extra step because the book will tell you to do a blind hem here, which will do what looks like hand tacks here so that you don't have to do it by hand. But then they have you come back and do a zigzag on this edge. I don't like to do that because I don't like doing 2 passes. If I had a serger, I'd go ahead and just do a 4 thread or 3 thread on here and then do my blind hem. But again, that's 2 passes. So I'm going to take this raw edge and I'm just going to tuck it underneath. I'm going to grab my pins here and I'm going to pin this, try not to pin my caddy to it in the back here that I have on my table. So a couple pins just to help hold this in place. Now what I want to do is I'm going to select my blind hem, which I just did, and I'm going to advance it. So I'm going to just take a stitch until it comes way out here to what's called the bite. And that bite, we got to watch how close it goes onto this fold here. However much it goes on this fold, it's going to show double the size over here. So I am going to take my foot and I'm going to turn this so that my red mark, my red guide is going closer to my needle. And then I'm going to come put this down. I can still see that's too far, so I'm going to keep going. I might even change my width a little bit here to help me out. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that my needle is just coming down just onto this fold here and my guide is staying right here. So I'm just going to stitch here. All I need to do is watch my guide. I'm keeping my fold up to that guide. And when I bring it out here, you can see I have these little tacks every once in a while, okay? And then this is now a nice finished hem. So I did a blind hem directly on my machine. So I can take that one directly off. And then I do have some built-in features of decorative stitches, one of which is like a blind hem, not a blind hem, I apologize, a blanket stitch, which is number 13. This will allow you to come in and do just like a little, what we used to have to do by hand, these little blankets, so that you could do applique. And that's what was done on this owl right here around all my applique pieces. Really fun little getting started machine, not loaded up with a lot of stitches, but has some great features again of needle up, needle down, speed control, start, stop key, drop in bobbin, a really nice, great beginner machine or for that just hobby sewer.